Echoes Hue. Audio Productions. Smooth, sweet sounds. Echoes Hue Audio Productions proudly presents a J.S. Mensah audio work.
Hi everybody, and welcome to my brand new podcast, Would You Adam and Eve It, with me, Del McCamley. Keep up to date with content from Echoes Hue Audio Productions by following us on TikTok, Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. Don't forget to follow, like and comment. In the next 20 minutes or so, I'll be talking about issues that affect us all on a national, local and global level. As the famous Blues Brothers once said, issues that affect you, me, them, everybody. Because everybody needs somebody. Somebody to love, miss and kiss and keep you all clued up as just what the hell is going on out there. Because if I don't tell you, then nobody will. Definitely not any of our competitors. So sit back, kick back, relax, grab yourself a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, glass of whiskey, glass of vodka. Oh, glass of whiskey, glass of vodka? What the hell? Who starts drinking at this time of the day? What? My producer just said everybody. No, man, that's not true. Not everybody. Anyway, just relax and know that Del is going to get in there and wiggle and jiggle out the workings of just what the heck is going on in that jolly game we call life. You know it makes sense. So stick with me. I'll put you right. Okay, so talking about the word life, let's just think about that for a bit, shall we? When we say that word, what do we mean about the word life? What do we mean when we think of that word? Do we plough straight into notions of birth, reproduction, growth, and the shuddering journey towards the grave? No? If you could go back in a time machine, where would you see yourself? What sort of path would you like your life to go on? When you're talking to friends, family, relatives, where would you see your life going? Would you want to be rich, handsome, pretty? All of those things, right? What do we think about how we live our lives? Our families, our jobs and careers? The choices we make, do we think about all those things? Yeah, there's definitely that, definitely. So what sort of lifestyle choices do we make as humans? Where do we want to live? Do we want to live in a house, a flat, an apartment? Do we want to make lots of money? I mean, let's face it, because sometimes too much money could be a bad thing, right? So, do we wave at our neighbours every morning, like Jim Carrey in the Truman Show, as we come out of our house before jaunting off to do our thing? What about living in one of those huge royal-style mansions? The kind you get in places like St John's Wood, Beverly Hills, or even Palma de Mallorca in Spain. What a brilliant lifestyle choice that'd be, eh? You'd like that, wouldn't you? Lovely jubbly, as another Del was fond of saying. But hang on a sec. What if you haven't got any real neighbours? What if you don't live in a house, a flat, or an apartment? What about living in a sleeping bag begging for money in the cold and being shoved from pillar to post. We don't want you here. You're making my place look untidy. Move on. Do you know what I mean, governor? What about having your home dragged up from the pavement? What about all your worldly goods being lobbed into the back of a lorry? Hey, but it's your choice, right? It's a lifestyle choice, right? Wrong. According to Suella Braverman, the former Home Secretary, hallelujah, hallelujah, thank God she's gone. Hallelujah. According to her, 300,000 of us choose to live like that. Yeah, that's right. 300,000 households lack secure accommodation. That's a whopping leap of 30% since 2010. Yeah, hard to believe. Yeah, that's right. The lovely Suella Braverman would have us all believe 300,000 people have all made the lifestyle choice of making themselves homeless. Wouldn't it be really interesting to peek into the minds of these politicians? What you'd probably find would be a reality on a par with a Salvador Dali painting or something knocked up by Enid Blyton. 5 go to a lockdown party. Let's go. We're not breaking any rules here. The reason people are homeless isn't a moral failing, it's a lack of cash. The Tories have slashed everything in sight. The whole blooming lot of them are like multiple Freddy Kruegers on speed. Slash this, slash that. Oh, there's a public amenity. Let's hack the hell out of that. Ever since George, we're all in this together, Osborne went on a rampage with his austerity cuts. Social housing is down. Down, way on down. Private rents are so high, you'd need a space telescope to see anything. Housing benefits have been frozen. People are relying on social safety net that's about the same size as a smelly sock, and it's not looking to get any better. But hey, don't forget, people, it's a lifestyle choice. There's about 3,000 rough sleepers on the streets of Britain. Can you believe that? Those are just the ones we see, or don't see, as we choose. They're just the ones we ignore, step over, and sometimes, just sometimes, throw money to. What about the rest? The hidden homeless. Those that are sofa surfing. Those in temporary accommodation. What about those living in Fleabag B&Bs paid for by local councils? Well, we could give them money. There's a thought. I know what you're thinking. Why should we give them money? They're all scroungers, right? This idea of homeless people taking us all for mugs and ripping us off isn't new. You can go way back to the Victorian times for examples of that. The works of Dickens and other writers all the time tell us about workhouses and how the poor were treated like criminals. Doesn't it make you proud that we're still a country that prides itself on old, time-honoured traditions? All of this hasn't been helped by politicians over the years. All those lovely people in power whose mouths start flapping at the merest sniff of a general election. Scroungers, skivers, benefit scum. In 1992, Tory politician Peter Lilly spoke about the something for nothing society and said we should stop subsidising scroungers. Can you believe that? This is the same bloke who voted against climate change. Maybe the $400,000 he got as a backhander from an oil company might have had something to do with it. Labour wasn't any different. Good old Tony spoke about scroungers gushing platitudes about hand-ups, not handouts. This is the guy who took us into an illegal war, earns £200,000 for a single speaking event, and who was estimated to be worth 60 million, but insists that he's not interested in making money. And our own Foreign Secretary, Mr Cameron, during his coalition government, contrasted strivers with skivers. Good old cosy Cameron, whose dodgy dealings with Greensill Capital enabled him to ram £10 million into his skyrocket. Psst, Davey, left any of the kids in a pub recently? Yep, folks, even a London-based homeless charity called Thames Reach launched a scathing set of tactics against the very people they were supposed to be helping by telling us that your kindness could kill. Nah, just let them freeze to death and die in the streets instead. Who needs that kind of endorsement? What this basically meant, in a nutshell, was not to give homeless people money. What flipping flandoodle is this? What do you mean don't give them homeless people money? Suffolk police went one better in 2015. Poster campaigns with yakety yak all over them like, could you spare 20p for a cup of tea? How about £10 for a bag of heroin? £20 for a rock of crack? Has anyone heard the messages on the London Underground, giving us pointers on how not to show a tiny bit of sympathy? Telling us that there are beggars and buskers operating in this area. Please do not encourage their presence by supporting them. I know one of the signs of demonic invasion is supposed to be hearing people using languages unknown to the person or person around them, but I don't think that sorry governor, can you spare a quid qualifies. The reason I said that is even the Catholic Church are against homeless people. Jonathan Tan, chief executive of a small charity called Greater Change, which dishes out cash grants in parts of southern England, has been quoted as saying, different barriers trap different people in places, and sometimes some upfront material support can help them overcome those barriers. It's radical simplicity. Give people money and they'll get on with it. Do they? Well, they do it in countries such as Uganda and Bangladesh. There's an international development non-profit organisation called Give Directly, that's one word, folks, who have found that giving people cash and nothing else leads to psychological well-being, sustained income, and, above all, female empowerment amongst all those that need it most. Imagine that. If you give people money, they're going to do good things with it. If you see a homeless person on the street, give them money. All of this leads to great things, folks, not rocket science. In fact, another organisation called the Overseas Development Institute have said there is strong evidence that cash transfers are linked to reductions in monetary poverty. That should be as obvious as a wart on the end of a witch's nose, right? An undeniable aspect. Why then don't we do it? Why walk around like Ebenezer Scrooge, mentally bar humbugging our way through the gritty city streets whenever we see someone homeless? If you see a homeless person on the street, give them money. In 2023, the Canadian charity Foundations for Social Change worked with 50 homeless people in Vancouver, giving them each a one-off payment of $7,500, telling them, do whatever the blooming hell you want with the money. What do you think they did? The results were compared with a group of homeless people who didn't get a thing. Then they sent both groups to sessions on life skill development and planning. All those with stuffed pockets, all those that had the money in their pockets, who were given the money, went on to stable housing and steady financial security, buying food, clothes, finding a place to rent, and not a flipping cent on booze, drugs or ciggies. Our value is that people know what's best for themselves, says Heather Hay, Director of Community and Projects at Foundations for Social Change. Yeah, I get it. That's cool. So what's the problem with us Brits? If you see a homeless person on the street, give them money. Greater Change tells of a homeless man by the name of Lee, who after being given a direct cash transfer to clear rent arrears, was able to rent a place to live. Jonathan Tan, the same guy of Greater Change, said, it's dignified and it gives people control. What he also mentions is the fact that it saves the government an annual saving of £35,000 per homeless person, multiple savings in the cost of temporary accommodations or B&Bs. Again, it's not rocket science. Duh, as the Americans say, you do the math. So, again, if you see a homeless person on the street, give them money. Look, we all know that cash aid can't scorch every evil, but as Jonathan Tan tells us, it works best as an early intervention. To be clear, personalised budgets can still help people with entrenched problems. So come on, folks. If you see a homeless person, spare them a thought and help them out a bit. Give them some money and maybe even a hug. I've been Del McCamley, and this has been Would You Adam and Eve It? Don't be shy. Tune in for next time. See ya.
Thanks for listening to an Echoes Hue audio productions project. Smooth, sweet sounds. Keep up to date with content from Echoes Hue Audio Productions by following us on TikTok, Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. Don't forget to follow, like and comment. Would You Adam and Eve It is written and presented by Dale McCamley. The podcast is directed and produced by J.S. Mensah. Our theme music is by Oleg Mazur.